So President Trump started World War. Oh, no, he didn't. Do you remember when President Trump was going to start World War when he was president the first time? And when President Trump was going to have the North Koreans attacking us with nuclear, and that didn't, remember that? And then the Chinese were going to, and then that didn't happen. And remember that during President Trump's term, Russia was going to invade Ukraine, but they didn't. And then the figurehead came along and they did. There has always been a concern that President Trump is going to be the guy who starts World War X, in this case 3. And it has not happened, praise God. What he did in Iran, we can have all sorts of debates. I am very, very open to the debate on whether presidents should be able to take limited military action like this without a declaration of war from Congress. It'd be an interesting debate. I think in an emergency situation, it's hard to think that our founders meant when you are having to attack someone defensively immediately, that's a declaration of war. That's an act of self-defense. And given that we as a nation have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it's hard to believe that the agency that has been constructed in our constitutional system to protect the nation would have to go and ask permission to defend life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That's very, very difficult to believe. And presidents, of course, have launched military limited actions like this many, many times. So we can have the debate, but let's not have it emotionally. This is an Amazon worker, and this is her response to what went on in Iran.
I just want to know how I'm supposed to do my job when we bombed Iran, and we're just supposed to go around about. We're just supposed to get these boxes out without being worried. I just need somebody to explain to me how I'm supposed to not crash out.
Okay. You can worry. You can obsess. You can think, you can talk, you can commiserate, you can promote, you can agitate, you can question. You can, I guess, I don't know your warehouse. Perhaps you're allowed to listen to leftist podcasts. You could do that. You can do all those things, and you're at work. And so instead of making a video, you could be, in fact, getting the boxes out. In other words, you do that the same way you made the video. This has been such a purposeful thing to take everything President Trump does to make it very, very, very scary. But let's talk scary for a second. Let's compare J.D. Vance and let's compare Marco Rubio to someone else, a guy who was pining for war. He wanted more. He loved the bombs, but he wanted some more. And maybe it's because there's a whole bunch of money in it for him. I'll give you that example in just a second. There's a whole ton of reasons why your bank, if you're a small or medium-sized business owner, does not want you to know about Visible. So I'm telling you information your bank does not want you to have. If you are a small or medium-sized business owner, I'm sure you have a bank account. You probably have checking and savings. You probably have a money market account. You're probably like me. I guess I'm not going to take out my debit card and show everybody the number, but you're probably like me. You're probably in your little wallet. Have a business debit card, right? Well, I'm looking at the back of my business debit card and it says the name of my corporation. But guess what's above the name of my corporation? My first and last name with my middle initial right there in the middle. This is not a corporate credit card or debit card. This is a personal card with my business name on it. This is very, very important. Because if during the program, Alex forces me to commit libel, and I go out and libel somebody because Alex made me, then I get in trouble, not Alex. And they come after my retirement accounts and my personal accounts and my home and my kids' college savings fund because there has been no firewall. I'm letting Visible fix this. That's what they do. Now, when that is fixed, it's very difficult for people to go at your personal assets. There's an upside to this in addition to protection. Corporate credit grows at 2, 3, 4 times the rate as personal credit. So if you need to take advantage of a great big special, let's say that I could buy a robotic me on special today and have a robotic me do the show while I sit and produce. Well, then Alex would be out of work. That's not a good idea. But I could take advantage of corporate credit to do that. The people at Visible will solve this problem for you in 7 easy steps. There's a few things they're going to have you do online, and they're going to start with this, a free, no obligation consultation. And I guarantee you're going to learn something about business, corporate credit, and probably your own corporate credit rating. And yes, you do have one. Here's their website. It's govisible.com. Go sign up, take the free consultation. When it sounds good, commit to going through the process and getting it off your to-do list. It's Bizible. GoBizible.com. I was speaking of someone who seems mighty, mighty excited. Now that President Trump has apparently destroyed the ability of the Iranians to make nuclear war on us, he seems pretty stinking excited for just a little bit more war.
It's about a religious agenda. Why do they do what they do? Religious, fanatical beliefs, a master religion for the world. And if you don't believe that, you have missed a lot. That's what they want, and the only way they're not going to get there is for somebody to stop them. What did Hitler want? To take over the entire world and create a master race. Anybody that didn't fit his definition of the right kind of person was imprisoned or killed. The Ayatollah and his henchmen have that same view, but it's religiously driven.
Now do China. Now do China. The leader of the Chinese Communist Party is a racist. He's a eugenicist. He's a Chinese supremacist. They've promised to be the world's masters of biological and chemical warfare. It's their total warfare program. They're making fake islands surrounding Taiwan. They're purchasing our farmland and our water rights, and they're being allowed to do this. They're stealing our military secrets and have paid no cost for that. Why aren't you doing China? Is it because there's no money in it, or there's more money in not doing it, Lindsay? See, Trump didn't start World War III, praise God, but Lindsey Graham needs to have it. There's a lot of people who need to have it, and they're not getting it. I think Fox News would like to see it. I think they're a little bit disappointed. I think MSNBC would like to see it. I think they're a little bit disappointed. J.D. Vance went on Fox News to talk about a ceasefire that may not be a ceasefire that Israel and Iran are able to keep.
The president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty, obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
Great point. And as he makes his points, I think Fox News would love to see a World War III for money, for ratings, etc., and for being able to vote in more war hawks like Lindsey Graham. Because Fox News is a corporate entity has backed this. President Trump didn't start World War III. Praise God. Let's hope it does not start. He was supposed to start all sorts of things. We're supposed to have already had nukes fired at us by all these countries, and that hasn't happened. And why is that? One of the great advantages of Trump as president is this. He is unpredictable. It is not a guy you want to play poker with. Everybody knew that figurehead Biden was going to appease Iran because he was run by the people who ran Barack Obama, who appeased Iran. And prior to that, presidents have appeased Iran. President Trump did not appease them, nor did he go at them. There's been some reason that we have been appeasing Iran. It doesn't mean that we need to go destroy Iran to the core. Israel's doing a fine job of that. I'm not the Lindsey Graham type who wants to go have yet another war of American boots on the ground. I don't want that at all. Nor do I want a world run by people like Margaret Brennan of CBS. She went out to school Marco Rubio, on terminology regarding intel assessments leading up to this, not World War III. This is a bit of that exchange.
Let me follow up on the phrase you just word, weaponization ambitions. Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I see that question being asked on the media all the time. That's an irrelevant question.
No,
They have
but that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build a
point in
weapon.
U.S. intelligence assessments. You know
No,
that.
it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had
well,
not
I know
been
that better
made.
than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But
You don't
I'm
know-
asking
you
you
don't
whether
know
the
what you're
order
talking
was
about.
given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons.
Praise God that people in the Trump administration are free to speak back against the media this way. This is one of the great things that God has unleashed through President Donald John Trump, is the ability to speak back in righteous ways against the well-constructed lies of the Mockingbird media. Margaret Brennan being someone who can string those together subtly. And when they are answered subtly, it leaves questions in the mind. Marco Rubio was not subtle. He answered this very, very directly. President Trump did not start World War III. Praise God. We will see wars and rumors of wars. We will see the ultimate war, and there will be no way out of it. There's no surrendering. There's no pandering. There's no agreement. There's no ceasefire. You are in this war now. It is a spiritual war. You cannot avoid it. You can't walk away from it. You can't have a peace sign against it. You can't say, I choose not to play. You can't say, I choose not to participate. You're in it. And on that day of war, those many days of war where Jesus Christ returns as king and judge, you do not want to wait to the last minute. Get on the side that wins. And if you want to know who wins, read ahead in the Bible. There's a clue at the end.